Hello, my name is Neil Podder with Improving Your Small Business, and today we'll discuss making a restaurant profitable. So in the video we'll discuss costs, operations, sales and quality, and if you feel overwhelmed now or at the end, I'll recommend the kind of first step to take. So the first category is costs and looking at the cost of food. Okay. Now, if you take your industry, the kind of restaurant you have, and you do some Googling, you'll find some percentages of how much the cost of food should be as a proportion of the retail price. I'm going to pick 20% as an average here. Yours could be plus or minus a bit different. But if you had a $15 item on the menu, your cost of food for that item should be about $3 at 20%. Now, you want to have a pretty good markup because you have expenses and insurance and rent and whatever to cover. You are basically factoring in your other expenses through that markup. Now, if you look at the menu item, all the menu items, okay, and do the same kind of thing, you might find there are some things in the menu that always make a good margin, and you should keep on selling them, obviously. And there could be some things in the menu that never make a good margin. And so when people buy them, you're losing money or you're barely breaking even. And so look at the whole menu of items and figure out, are there ones in there that should be either changed or eliminated? Either changed because you want to raise the price a little bit to make the margin better, or maybe figure out how to reduce the cost a little bit to kind of make the cost of food or cost of goods less. Now that leads to the next step of buying suppliers from wholesalers and not retailers. If you're buying your food from Costco or Sam's or Walmart or somewhere, you're paying retail prices. And so the question really is, can you buy the same food or even better food from a wholesaler? Maybe a little bit larger quantity. Maybe that's okay because you can sell more items in the top half of the list, and therefore the food will get consumed quickly anyway, but you're getting better food and a cheaper price at wholesale. Now, when you look at your menu of items, you might find there are things on the list that you buy food for but never ever sell, okay, kind of down here somewhere. And so you might figure out there are too many items on the list and you're still buying food just in case you sell them, but the data would show that you're not actually selling them. So don't be scared to eliminate some of these things. If you're in any doubt, you can ask the question to people, would you ever buy this thing? Or look at the data. But your menu may be just too big and too complicated, and therefore you're buying food that never really kind of sells again, or expires before you ever sell it. So you might end up with a more streamlined menu based upon the markup and the sales volume, and eliminate some of the things kind of down here that never make you any money. So the next question is to look at the menu and figure out if there are items on the menu that take a long time to cook and prepare compared to the actual price you can sell them for. So the labor now starts to kind of weigh into the amount of margin you make. Now, there could be some things on the menu, like desserts, that take a long time to prepare, but you could be selling them for a higher price. There's one restaurant we go to where there's a particular dessert, and they actually say in the menu it takes a lot longer to build this dessert or make the dessert than the other ones, but the price is a little higher too. Okay, so it's kind of a specialty item. So if you can mark up the price and actually tell people why it's marked up, then yeah, that could be a good idea. But if you have items that take a long time to prepare, and you look at the cost of labor now and the cost of food, and you're not hitting your goal, whatever the goal is, then you might decide to eliminate some of those too, or change the way you market them, or change the way you price them, so you are factoring in that extra special care and attention into the price, and the customer kind of knows kind of what they're getting. Now, from an operations perspective, look at opening hours versus sales. Are you open from 8 in the morning till midnight, but your sales occur from noon till 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever? And now, is there an overlap between the time you open and the time you're selling? Okay, and some of this time over here could be eliminated. Now, you're paying labor for that time. Your people are hanging around, doing things. Could you have less labor for that time if there's a sale? Could you eliminate the labor altogether and have them just be there before opening time for the major sales event? Okay, and so is there a long period of time maybe weekends and evenings and whatever, and mornings where you're open but really it's just a waste of the labor, because you're paying for people to kind of open the store, kind of sit there, and nothing's kind of happening. So at least look at the data and figure out if there's a better overlap there. Are there bottlenecks that slow the volume of business, like having one cash register for everything? Now, either people ordering food or paying for food, okay, that's a bit of a disaster if you get into a kind of a peak season or a peak part of the day. Nowadays, most servers have the handheld devices or a phone device that can do it, or you put a QR code on the table and they can scan it, or a QR code on the receipt that you give them and they can scan that and pay for that. Look at ways to make the payment parallel or the ordering parallel, so you don't have one bottleneck that causes people to either walk away and kind of leave or not come back because they can never get their food within a half an hour because you have one machine being stressed out. So look at ways to make the activity more parallel, so more people can be served quicker and kind of pay their bill at the very end. So the next item is looking at the kitchen and the way it's streamlined to cause food to be cooked and created correctly first time without major waste. Now, you can't eliminate mistakes altogether. People will make mistakes, but you can look at the trash can at the end of the day and figure out just how much is really being wasted by mistakes. So it could be a workflow issue where the kitchen should be kind of in a circle or a kind of a line where things are going to processed, versus going all over the place in the kitchen looking for stuff and trying to cook it and getting each other's way. You can also look at the mistakes being made. Is there a senior master chef that could be teaching people how to do food better and making less mistakes? One restaurant we go to, kind of family styled, to avoid customer waste, where you give the customer too much food and they waste it and don't eat it. They will give you a good portion of the food on the first kind of round when they serve it to you, and then they'll actually say, if you would like some more or seconds, let us know. You can have seconds on all these dishes, and therefore they will bring you seconds. So they avoid some of the wastage issues because they don't give everybody a full plate of food all the time, which they don't want to eat. So just consider that too. So the next item is getting your staff involved in improving the operation. They know where the issues are because they live it all day long. They know which burners are burnt out. They know that the food is in the wrong location. They know there are errors made on ABC system because it kind of burns it or doesn't cook it correctly first time. They know things are kind of all over the place. Okay? They know they have to live like this in the kitchen. And so get them involved for an hour or two a week, pay them to actually list what is going wrong, what could be kind of leveraged or kind of utilized, and what their priorities are, and get them to help you improve it. Don't just guess on their behalf and make things worse. Get them involved in working on the operation versus just kind of in the operation game. Because any benefit they're going to come up with, you're going to gain. You're going to use that benefit over a long period of time. So the next one is, do you have debt that is consuming your profits? Debt may be essential to begin with if you don't have cash to fund for things like equipment and whatever, but no, eventually you want to get out of debt. You want to earn positive money cash, and eliminate negative money kind of debt, okay? Because debt consumes your profit. So if you make the improvements above, you have to figure out where those improvements actually are. Can you start to kind of pay off the debt quicker? Because you're using that money to kind of do that and therefore earn cash quicker and make sales kind of better. So I think the long-term goal would be, maybe the medium-term goal, is to get the improvements kind of put in place, save money, and make sure the debt goes down to zero and kind of stays that way. Okay. So let's talk about sales and quality. Okay, is the food you offer A+ or C-? Okay, I can cook C- food. I don't need to go anywhere for that. Okay. Just to stay in my kitchen with me, okay? I want to go for A+ food, okay? And if I find a restaurant that isn't kind of A or A+ or A-, okay, then I'm going to go somewhere else, okay? I'm not going to go to a restaurant and get a terrible salad, okay? Or barely cooked whatever or overly cooked something, I can do that myself for free or for a little cost. And so make sure your food is actually in the A+ category, and if not, determine how to do it. Now, food has been going on for a long time in the universe, and there are people that know how to do it really, really well. And so with a bit of education, maybe a YouTube video or two if you need it, or getting your senior chef person to train the junior chef people, whatever it takes, get the food to kind of be first class, systematic all the time. So the next item to consider is your staff. Are they A+ or are they rude C-? When I go into a restaurant and I have a particular need, like I want the beans without gravy, I do not expect the server to say, we can't do that. We've never done that. On the menu, they come together. Beans and gravy come together all the time. This is what we do. You can't ask for beans separate from gravy. It doesn't. It doesn't work. I'm thinking, it does. The beans were separate in a bag. The gravy was separate in a box, or whatever can. And so, yes, they do come separately. That's why they arrived at your place. I think, so don't say the words. And then I'm thinking, just sell me the beans without the gravy. It's not complicated. The time we spent arguing on this, you could have done it by now. I think that. If the server is that, kind of blocking my ideas, and they're so inflexible, then I will not go back. I will not go back to the restaurant. I do not need to have an argument with somebody like, can the beans be delivered separate from the gravy? It's just not worth my lifespan to do that. One time I went to a restaurant, I must have been jogging or running or something beforehand, and I had a major spasm in my muscles, and I just wanted a banana, with the idea that bananas are potassium and it would help me somehow. And so I asked, just, can you sell me a banana? And the response was, no, we don't sell bananas by themselves. Bananas come with a sundae ice cream, ice cream sundae, and we don't do them separately. There's no way we can do it, It's not possible. And I'm thinking, the bananas delivered to your restaurant without ice cream, they really did. I know they come up with tree, banana, delivery, restaurant. They came separately. And so, if you know the cost of a banana, I know, 25 cents, whatever it is, sell me a banana for $2. I don't care. I have a muscle spasm right now. Sell me, and their idea is that they come together. So if you have staff that is going to rude C- and they argue a lot, fix it. Either train them, fix it, address it, educate them, or something. I do not go to a restaurant to argue whether I can have my beans and gravy separate. It's not an issue. Just gonna do it. So let's discuss upselling. Upselling, basically, the customer's sitting there. They have some money because they're sitting there, and they're willing to spend it because they're having a good time, or they want to have a good time. Can you sell them a new thing? It could be a drink, it could be a bowl of soup, it could be a side salad, it could be a latte at the end, it could be a extra side dish. They're going to make things go kind of better. It's not a whole bunch. Don't be pushy. Don't just sit there and berate them for not buying wine, like some restaurants do. I don't want that. But just mention, or on the menu, mention the things that are going to go along well with this, and would they like to consider it, and then kind of leave it alone. And so if it's an extra $5 or whatever, you can make extra money from that one customer interaction without a whole bunch of effort, just by pointing out or educating kind of what goes with what they may want to consider, without being overly pushy or kind of bad about it. So just make sure people know what is an option, and your staff is trained to do that. Now, if you're sitting there and before the video you were overwhelmed, like what do we do next? Or now you're thinking, what do we do next? You're overwhelmed. It's okay. We'll work on it. I would say if it was me, I would work on cost of food and sales price first. Because if I sell an item, here's my item, and I lose money on it, and I sell 20 of them, I've lost 20 times the time I lost, on the first one. And therefore, the more I sell, the more I lose, And so I would want to fix the cost of the food and the sales price first. So when I sell anything, I'm not losing money. And then I would kind of work on the other things in the list. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and found some things in there useful. Please subscribe to the channel. It's just a button to push on the screen. Just push it now. You'll be good. Put questions and comments down below. I'll be happy to try to help you out. You might like the video on the left on how to succeed as a small business, and the one on the right, making a small business profitable. If you need assistance, please contact me at my link below. I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you. Bye-bye.